people are losing their lives. The last 2 years in a row now, somebody has lost their life to a kayak incident. Last year, there were at least 70 kayakers that we brought back to shore, or helped get back to shore. And that was done between our office, the Sheriff's Office, and the Port Austin Fire Department. Some of those groups of what made up a lot of those kayakers in trouble came in two big groups. One of them was up to 35 people. Was in after a storm had came through. Of those 70, 6 of them came down to, if we weren't there and able to get them out, it was the difference between life and death. And as I told you a little earlier, that for 2 years in a row, and I hope we'll break that this year with no deaths or anybody getting hurt or injured or hypothermic or any other type of life-threatening situations. Hopefully this year we won't have them. But that is a very popular sport. I expect to see as many kayakers as what we saw last year. I and the Port Austin Fire Department already began working on different areas where the kayakers have been running into to find alternatives of getting us back, either they or us or both, which involves working with the Point of Arcs Association people. It looks like last year we worked on just about 20 kayak incidents, and not only with water situations do we run in or do we have issue with or get calls on. There's also trespassing issues in the Point of Arcs area or at the Broken Rocks Association. Trespassing, public urination, indecent exposure, drunk and disorderly. So it's not just all water related. We actually want to see people enjoy themselves when they come up here, but they have to realize that lake, even though it's technically called a inland lake, that lake has swallowed freighters, and to get out in a kayak and not heed or take advice from things that are on that sign, because the majority of the people that we deal with are novices. Taking those precautions for granted puts a person's life in jeopardy. I mean, one thing that we've and this isn't new this past 2 years. We've been, as the fad, so to speak, has become more popular. I'm gonna say it over 5 years now. We've ran into a lot of people that don't take life jackets with them, and that's what makes, I've said it before, the difference between life and death. You don't last very long in that water like that. So even though the days that I was out was nice and sunny and warm, that water is really cold, and that's one of the things that's taken for granted. I've pulled people out of the water were unconscious. In one particular incident that's coming to mind was on a Memorial Day, Monday. Nice weather day. Some students came up from, some college students came up from Lansing, and they're going to go kayaking. Ended up swamping. One individual couldn't get his kayak uprighted to get back in, which is very difficult to do. ended up hanging off the side of fortunately had a companion with him, hanging off to off the side, and had the life jacket on to where when we finally got to him, which wasn't all that long in the grand schemes of what it takes to respond to something like that. I believe it was 40 minutes or 45 minutes. This guy was unconscious. But what I was saying is that we want people to enjoy themselves, but we can't just look at it with the eyes of, well, these people just came up to have a good time, so why bother and pester them? Well, you're looking at the individual that deals with the families when somebody goes missing. I'm the guy that does that, and it's not too difficult to get emotionally wrapped up as we get involved looking for somebody, to get attached to the family and feel some of what they're going through. You just can't expect something so harmless not to be capable of taking your life.